I have thought so hard through all this, and you can see that all these songs are so good that you could never make fun of me once. Not one time. Don't do it. Don't even think. Don't. Keep it to yourself, buddy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have something brand new for you, which is this video on all of the different productivity apps that I use, my complete app stack, a little productivity app stack in 2024. I'm a huge fan of the way that people do this on their own channels. And I wanted to bring something to you as somebody who has been a pretty large proponent of productivity apps in this space for a while. So let's get right into it. Also, shout out to building, cleaning, and vacuuming, as that's in the background as I'm recording right now, and it's making this really fun. Thank you for keeping my building clean. I'm so happy. Can you tell? All right, so first and foremost, this video is going to go into my app stack in a few different categories that I think it's fair to mention. It's going to be separated into tasks and projects as one category, followed up by file management, email and communication, browsing and exploration. There will be a little bit of crossover when it comes to knowledge management between the task and project as well as the file management sections. And also there will be talks of my calendar as well. So first and foremost, the base of a lot of my system is inside of Notion. So Notion is where I do all my project and task management for, I would like to say, computer-oriented tasks, things that don't necessarily relate to chores or don't require me to go on the internet to do. These are all the different tasks that are connected to my projects for the most part. So I actually have a setup inside of Notion, which this is my actions page that tells me what to do every single day. There's a backlog of different tasks that I need to do. And then there is a high priority of tasks that I need to do that aren't, content related. I run a content business, so the highest priority tasks that I have are content. Ideas that I have that I end up always pushing back to the future because I put way too many tasks on my list are medium, and then obscure ideas I have go on the low side here. So no priority just ends up happening when I accidentally don't put one on it. But this setup essentially showcases all the tasks I need to do today. And then I have a little view for this week by day. So it goes through the rest of the week, showcasing all the tasks I have throughout the week that are content or high priority. And then I have a couple other things. I have a little weekly view, kind of showcases all of this in this sense. And I can take a calendar weekly view and scroll through the different days on here. And I also have a couple other task views that essentially connect to a few things. So inside of my project management system for the company I run, there are subtasks connected to projects. And all of these are essentially tasks that I need to do regarding content. So like I record a lot, and they're all put here and they're separated into client work and BAU work. So I'm basically just taking a look here for the content tasks that I have on this page to make it easier for myself. And then when it comes to planning my personal agenda, I utilize this planning page that has a weekly view. I also end up utilizing maybe a monthly view to get a bigger scope of everything. But the weekly view is a huge update to Notion that I'm a big fan of. So that's that here. And for the most part, that's pretty much my task management. It's personal tasks that are there. The other thing that I will note regarding Notion is that I do have a project management system. So essentially, here's a view of all the different subtasks that a bunch of people on the team have regarding content. So it's connected to my content calendar. So this is all the different people within the team. And then there are recurring priorities right here. So every week, essentially, we have, once again, a content priority that then funnels down into a high priority, medium, and low, right? So we got essentially recurring projects regarding things like, what am I recording this week? What are people editing this week? And then any person can log in and see the My Tasks section here. So pretty simple when it comes to how it goes about. So shout out to me for all the recording this week. Wild. And all of these tasks, if they actually don't get finished at the end of the week, end up automatically getting moved to next week's projects and priorities, which is a really cool automation that I made. Now, when it comes to personal task management that does not require a computer, I actually have this to-do list inside of Todoist. And the reason for that is I quit my iPhone a while ago and needed a quicker alternate solution for utilizing my Apple Watch. And Todoist has an app with the Apple Watch, which is pretty easy to do. It's easy to add tasks via audio to it as well. And here's a backlog of tasks that I need to do. Like after I finish recording this video, When I take breaks, a lot of it ends up being just doing growth or, chore oriented things. Like I'll go dust, I'll go Swiffer, I'll go do some dishes. I kind of work like that. I'll leave stuff be. And then we need to take a mental break. Since I quit my phone, now I just do chores. That sounds weird probably, but I'll end up listening to a podcast or like a sports radio segment or a radio that listens to radio, sports, ESPN or Fox Sports 1 talk show, and mainly Pat McAfee. And then I'll do some chores and check off the stuff in the backlog, like you can see on my Todoist on the screen. After I check off prep tomorrow's coffee, this will disappear on the screen right here. And it keeps things great. I got recurring tasks here. Anytime I have something new in life that I need to end up recurringly do, I do add this to the Todoist, and it makes life a lot easier. So that's the task and project side. Now, when it comes to file and knowledge management, I have a couple things. One, I do end up utilizing Notion as a knowledge management platform for taking notes, for interacting with a lot of different things. Like I manage my entire content calendar inside of Notion. Any of those videos that you just saw actually are attached to a Google Drive folder though. And this is all made through automation, which I'll kind of put automation in the knowledge management side of it, sort of. I know that doesn't maybe make sense, but I think it kind of holds the whole system together. So maybe it's just workspace management. And if I click on one of these, you'll see that the name, the best AI meeting note takers, and number are matched here in the folder name, in the project file of Premiere Pro. This is all made possible through Notion, Google Drive, some automation work on my part, and some blood, sweat, and tears. If I open up make.com and Zapier, both of my accounts are spending hundreds of like 150 plus, I think, a month in subscriptions on automations. And that's because a ridiculous amount of my business is automated. I save 10, 20, 30, 25 to 30 hours a week on project management a week alone with automations. I don't assign tasks to anybody. I have like an equation that does it. I have stuff that needs to be checked off that wasn't checked off gets actually checked off with automations. I've thought of all the conditional logic for moving stuff around in my workspace and system. All this is done with make.com and Zapier. Really love the pairing there. Zapier is great for short-term, really quick and easy, getting your hands on a step-by-step process and having it go through the flow. And make.com is amazing for updates and broad scenarios like adding subtasks to a report and like doing that every day. So with those two and Notion, I'm able to essentially connect all of it to Google Drive, where there's files that are connected to it that sync name-wise anytime there's a difference between a Notion content name and the name of the folder inside of Google Drive. It auto syncs, or if the number of the content has changed, it goes, hey, that's not right, and updates it. So big fan of that. Very much an improvement, to be honest, from what I was experiencing prior. Now, the next thing I use for calendar purposes is Morgan Calendar. So this is essentially layered on with the fact that Morgan is essentially augmenting my Google Calendar to sync it, right? So Google Calendar in one spot, then Morgan Calendar in another. And essentially from there, what I'm able to do is I'm able to automate, or not automate, I use that term way too much. I'm able to take my Google Calendar and layer on a better UI, the ability to have booking links and a booking page. So if anyone ever ends up wanting to make a call with me, I send them this link and they're able to book times that make sense for them very easily. Now, for me, I will say that I do not use everything. I view it as like an updated UI with the booking links. There are great task functionalities that connect to Todoist and to Morgan. I could use it for the Todoist sidebar thing nowadays, since I actually do utilize Todoist for the very reason that we just mentioned earlier. So this totally could be something I have open on the side. I usually just use my watch, but this is a great example of how my ecosystem does have some thought put into it, and I'm not just out here vibing. I've made a lot of videos on Morgan. I also do the videos for their YouTube channel, so I definitely go and check that out when you have the chance. So next, email and communication. I have two things that I use. One, obviously I have a big Google Drive ecosystem. I'm gonna use Gmail. I'm not gonna show you my email. I'm gonna open up my dummy email here, right? And enjoy the fact that I have this many unread messages. But seriously, I like the way that Gmail works. I actually utilize it for a myriad of different automations. I think that the module works way better than it does with other products. So what I do oftentimes is I'll utilize Gmail to capture a task. Like, check this out. Record the video about your productivity app stack and tell Vinny that you have a new client. Then this is essentially sent to a Gmail, and every 30 minutes, it ends up capturing the audio I sent out and parsing it into a task. As you can see right here, finds that good old thing in Gmail, uploads it to Google Drive, transcribes it with Whisper, and then actually adds it into my my productivity system in my tasks, in my backlog, since it's kind of like my inbox. So if you go inside here, you notice right here that it says record video, and then it's right here, record video. It's baffling to me that I actually can just capture a task like that with my watch, and it goes into my Notion system. So it's pretty cool. So I think Gmail has a great trigger for a lot of different things like make.com and Zapier automations. I also have Google Suite for business, so I'm not going to not use Gmail because Outlook's kind of lame anyways. And next we have Slack. I just got distracted just now. But we have a pretty robust system within here. I essentially made automations for everything inside of Notion connecting to our Slack, right? Anytime a video is made or recorded or edited or uploaded to our QA process, all these messages send out to the individual stakeholders that are assigned to them based off of their Slack ID. Kind of awesome, to be honest. It's a little funny to me that I went so hard on this, but I've taken a break from automations the last week or so, and it's allowed me to really take a minute and be able to just pump out a lot of recordings because I just have like a great delegated system, and it's like, oh, that's pretty awesome. I also utilize this to integrate with things like Google Calendar to remind me that I have meetings come up, and Google Drive to give out permissions when people request it. Grain is a great meeting summary software tool that I have inside of my meetings, which I guess could be in the communication or calendar category. Essentially, this automatically records my meetings and then sends it out to the leadership team on my team. And then from there, they are able to click on this and watch the recording. This is like a dummy recording I did for a YouTube video. And you'll notice here that it's got really cool transcription as well as timeline, notes, highlights, comments that you could leave. Great stuff. And this coincides with the fact that I do use Google Meet. I like Google Meet a lot more. It's pretty easy to make it into an app by just turning it into a shortcut if you're on Google Chrome, or an app if you're on Edge like me. And then you can just start an instant meeting and send the link out to team members. And I have the tools automatically transcribe and whatnot. So it's taking notes without me needing to think. Kind of a 12 out of 10 experience. Couldn't complain at all. I like Google Meet. It's gotten a lot of improvements recently. You can do polls, Q&A, whiteboard on the calls. I have Miro, so you can also do a Miro board on the call as well. So if I grab one of these, I was thinking about a pod structure for editing at some point. If I start the activity, you can really go hard on this and not even need to open up Miro, right? Like this is wild that this is a thing. Like I can edit this and everybody else will see it, right? And if I end the activity, it's over and done with. So shout out to Google Meet. I think it's a great product. I know some people have issues with it. Fundamentally though, I do think most of the issues people have with it are they're not familiar with the UI and they're like, oh, this thing stinks. It's like, no, maybe you just couldn't find the how to change your microphone button, which is okay. If you want to know, it's right here, settings, and then change audio for mic, and then the microphone, and then the speaker settings. You can do tests, turn on and off, noise cancellation, do push to talk, video as well. Like I can make this change to my Mac or a cam link. It's really up to you. You gotta find what works, and this works for me. Since I'm in the ecosystem, I'm not going to pay for Zoom. Now next, as you've probably noticed, I am browsing with it within Microsoft Edge, even though I'm on a Mac. Microsoft Edge is my favorite browser. Like, it is funny that I use Google ecosystem stuff for everything else, but the RAM is bloated on Google Chrome. The Chromium alternatives out there I would recommend are Brave or Edge. It's built with the same backend, but the stuff that they put on top of it is less bloated. You can remove some of the stuff they put on it. It has built-in, ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, whatever you want to call it. I mean, you could have it write a poem right away for no reason. And for the most part, I got rid of the add-ons on the side and have found that it works really smooth. It has less lag than Google Chrome. I don't have to deal with it automatically disabling third-party cookies like Brave, so that's why I got rid of that. And I like the experience overall, so I would recommend it. It's pretty not bloated if you know what you're doing with it. And it has the same functionality as Chrome, but in my opinion, a little better. Another really quick tool you can do with this is you can highlight some text and then read the text out loud, make it talk faster. People be using Speechify for God knows what reason. And then you also, if you check a look here, you can see that it automatically gives insights on the page, which is pretty cool. And in some cases gives a great summary to kind of take a look at if it's a blog and whatnot. It's cool for inadvertent, what keywords are they targeting research. Now, with this, in line with sort of browsing, exploration, and communication, I also use ChatGPT. ChatGPT Pro / Plus is one of my favorite tools out there. If you aren't familiar with the product, it's awesome. I mean, I've had in-depth conversations with this tool on my YouTube channel as kind of a joke, but also doing like productivity drops with it. It not only has the ability to do chat, but also you can say, create a better looking logo than this in a modern format for the company RP. And not only can you ask it to create an image, but nowadays you can give it stuff and it'll automatically upload it. It's wild, truthfully. And then you can see it's creating an image. Shout out RP, good old company logo things. Make the logo better. Make the logo better. You won't. Try harder. I'm trying to bully this thing into becoming a better product. Yep, didn't make it better, but it did make logos, which is wild. It's pretty cool. Like, this is a silly example I'm giving out, but you gotta enjoy this. I use ChatGPT over Bard, kind of thing I wanted to talk about in this video. They've improved the UI. They allow you to share chats now. It's definitely leveling up its system with add-ons and the ability to reference files and whatnot now. Really cool stuff. Now next, what do I do from a productive entertainment standpoint? I.e., what do I use for music, podcasts, and audiobooks? So I use Audible for the podcast side of things, and I really enjoy it. I'm able to open up any of these books and quickly, maybe get some Stoic knowledge. Listen to the sweet. Ooh, Stoicism. Yeah, seriously, it's a great product. I don't know if you all have heard, but Spotify has recently released audiobooks, which is cool. I have considered using Spotify for that reason. However, I already have Audible. I have a great experience with it. It works great on my Apple Watch, works right here. And it also works great for a myriad of other reasons because since I'm such an Apple ecosystem nerd, love the way that Apple Music and podcasts interact with Siri. I could use Spotify for everything, but instead I use the Music app with Apple Music. Like this amazing playlist called Edgy But Good. I have thought so hard through all this, and you can see that all these songs are so good that you could never make fun of me once. Not one time. Don't do it. Don't even think. Don't. Keep it to yourself, buddy. Don't even try. I do use Apple Music, though. I very much enjoy it. It's easy since I do have AirPods to connect to it, then utilize the Siri functionality on these to chat with and be like, hey, play this playlist. It does have some bugs that leave to be desired. If a playlist that I've made, like I have one called Workout, it will end up looking like an Apple Music playlist off of like their catalog. And I don't like that. It's not very smart when it comes to that. So I do end up having to get fancy with playlists in order for them to understand that I don't mean their general playlists. If you try to say my playlist, it also does not work. Like it doesn't listen to that. But overall, I have had a good experience with Apple Music and very much enjoy it. And last but not least, since I am in the Apple ecosystem even more, I do utilize the podcast app by Apple. Big fan of a lot of different self-improvement podcasts, as well as sports. Big fan of the Stoic Coffee Break, Simon Sinek's A Bit of Optimism, Graham Stephan's The Iced Coffee Hour, the Hormozy Power Couple, Alex and Layla have 2 different podcasts that are great. Ali Abdal's podcast, cool. I enjoy Huberman. And this Deep 3 podcast is possibly one of the funniest sports podcasts I've ever heard, as well as the Pat McAfee Show. Now, if you are a big fan of podcasts, I will say we do have a podcast, the Rise Productive Podcast. You can see right here, that is me and a buddy of mine who do talk about these kind of different things on the pod. So you can go check that out, riseproductive.com/podcast for more info. So that's my complete productivity stack. I know this was a long video, but for those of you that are interested in knowing everything about me, that's all I got. Probably have more than I didn't think of, but it's a big tool belt I'm carrying around, you know? A lot of stuff. A lot of cool stuff, just like you're cool. And how I love how you check out videos like this one and then stay till the end every single time. You're the best. And you'd be even better if you like this video, subscribe, and check out other videos like this one on how to improve your productivity even more.